It really has been interesting to watch ridiculously as my generation of players says, there's a chess game to basketball that is really interesting if you love that these aren't just guys running around out there, that this is Cirque du Soleil of these guys are doing drills all day so that they can be super precise to get an open 16-footer. If you like that, and then just watch a machine take it out to the fringes because it started with James Harden, but he couldn't close. He would have beaten – they were better at it than Durant and Curry and Thompson because they gamed the – and so what I'm asking you guys is, don't you find that part interesting? Because I'm endlessly fascinated by it.
I did. I found it interesting when it was happening. And I found it interesting as teams tried to be better at it than – one another. Now the team that's worst at it is better than the team that was best at it a decade ago, and it's not unlike what happened with baseball, which is like they cracked the code, they broke the sport, everybody started doing this, and then baseball realized we got to do something about this because it makes the sport less interesting. I don't watch basketball for math. I watch basketball for individual matchups and drama.
It was super interesting in baseball, and it still is in baseball, but then it became, all right, it's either home runs or strikeouts. And that's not so interesting.
Okay, but they fixed that too, right? It's always got to change. We got to change for the attention spans. We can talk, man, we've been talking for 2 seasons. Are they harming the sport? Nah, if the games are good and you get to watch Lions feed on Jokic, nah. You remember that stuff. When it'll give you moments all over the place. And Indiana's going to challenge that team. And I'd just be curious. I'd like Tatum to have one of those moments because it was weird to me. Boston with this champion, because we all kind of know this thing about it, that, that was easy. And now Boston gets to swagger around as they're entitled to title town because they're Boston. And it's like, yeah, but your beautiful, languid Ferrari of a star, I will say it again, 3rd best player in the league, empirically probably, close to it. If you don't believe it, whatever. Like, great player undisputably, not saying that he's not. But I haven't actually seen him kill his prey. James Harden, 50 points, semifinals, game 7. That's not where championships are won. Like, I understand that he's great and he's better than James Harden. And he did score 50 in a game 7 and not taking it away from him. But also, he doesn't have a lot of killer moments that any of us remember.
Nope.
He's also had a lot of opportunities in the playoffs to do this. It would stand to reason that he'd get a good game 7. He's played in an abnormal amount of them for someone so young in his career.
When you go into the big playoff game, you're the fan of the other team. Are you afraid of Jayson Tatum?
No, I want him shooting.
You know who you're afraid of? Derek White.
Yes. Very scared of
terrified of Derek White.
Okay, wait, though, I wouldn't go that far. I would not go that far. I'm still scared of Jayson Tatum. He can always get his 40 efficiently. If they ran it through Derek White would not be doing what Tatum is. Don't do that.
Man,
come on.
Derek White was their second best player in those NBA Finals.
Derek White has a moment you remember.
Derek White kicks our ass.
The putback.
I'm not worried about Jayson Tatum.
I was catatonic after that game.
You guys are insulting Jayson Tatum by saying Derek White might be better than him. Come on.
I think he's more important to their success, and I think it's pretty irrefutable who turned their fortunes around, and it wasn't Jayson Tatum. Look, man, I'm just saying what you're saying. You're saying he's got to show you something. I'm right there with you, pal.
I'm not even saying that he's got to show me something. I'm simply pointing out to everybody, hey, you know this thing here, right, that makes this feel a note off, even though it's a champion. Because this is the thing we were saying last week. Doc Rivers forevermore in that city is a champion. But that's not how he's going to be remembered. Like, you have to have the moments to be remembered. That's how it works. It can't be you just run through people and no one can say, what did you do in those series other than be the best player on the fastest? You drove the fastest car?
Well, and going back to the math, this also is what hurts Jayson Tatum with the moments, because no matter how good you think the Boston Celtics are, if they make threes, they win. If they miss threes, they lose.
Except against OKC, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see what that looks like, because I think when we talk about what's Boston going to do, these things are so cutthroat, man. Competition's crazy. The next team's always out there building a better thing. And OKC was ahead of Angel. No, we'll collect the draft picks. We'll collect everybody, lock them up long term, and not let them leave for 7 years, and see how that goes if we get some people that aren't Harden and Durant, because everyone's fallen in love with not the draft picks.
Do they have a chance tonight, Oklahoma City? Like with all the picks, do they have a chance that it could land on number 1 and they get to keep it? Are they in that game
They
tonight
have
for
so
Cooper
many.
Flag?
They have so many picks, and they are so young, and they are hungry, and they are fun.
They do not have an option for this lottery, this go around.
And they are a team that could absolutely beat Boston by saying, "Do you know how good our perimeter defensive? Like,
Historic.
Are you aware of how good we are at defense? And Pritchard, you want to keep shooting from out there? Okay, I see you shooting 43% all season. Has to be the most beloved Celtic there's been since Larry Bird. Has to be.
He's a good player. He scares me. He is a good player. He would scare me.
He's a great player.
Yeah. He's a good player.
You can argue that if both Oklahoma City and Boston make it to the NBA Finals, that would be the toughest test in 2 seasons for Boston in the playoffs.
Is that what the NBA wants? Boston, Oklahoma City?
For sure.
Is that the matchup?
For sure.
You think so?
For sure.
Oh.
SGA, the young core of the Thunder going against the Celtics trying to go for a repeat. Like, that's what the NBA wants. The thing is, you look
they
at
want Golden State. They want that Bay Area.
No way. Golden State's dead in the water.
The NBA wants San Francisco, Oakland as a TV market in there ahead of
TV
Oklahoma
market,
City.
okay.
You want the team that's always been there, like Golden State and the remnants of Steph. You absolutely want there. But look, we can talk about that series in a second because I'd like to see Edwards take it from Steph. I'd like to watch that. I don't want Steph on the sidelines making Jimmy Butler's Warriors look like Jimmy Butler's Heat. This
Very similar now.
Offense is going to be very hard to come by if you don't have a guy riding around on a magic carpet out there. Like, I mean,
The shooting from everywhere. Here, three.
No, but so the whole thing is asinine, right?
It's got to be an interesting experience for Jimmy too, right? Because he is also understanding, like, oh man, the best player being out sucks. It sucks. I'm the best player again? What? That was a lot to go through to just be the best player again and have to do everything. This is hard.
And then the other guy always quits when Steph isn't playing in the game. He gets thrown out or he picks up too many fouls.